This is KTVT, Fort Worth, Dallas, Channel 11, Television for Texans, and it's 7:30 for the 6:30 report. Wednesday, August 9th, 1961. Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins, and here's what's happening in the world here. Please offer J. Goldberg said in Dallas on Tuesday night that the Kennedy administration's legislative record has been outstanding. The Secretary of Labor addressed the International Typographical Union Convention at Baker Hotel Wednesday, told newsmen in Dallas left field that he is highly pleased with the way Congress accepted the administrative proposals. Before Congress concludes its session, our batting average should be somewhere around 900, and that's substantially better than my hometown baseball team's Washington Senators, Goldberg said. The Secretary said labor relations in the nation are better now than any have been at any time since World War II. They have just given a report to the President which shows that during the first 6 months of the administration, strikes has been at an all-time low. In a country as large and as free as ours, there are bound to be some industrial disputes, but I'm happy with our net results. Turning to be a less favorable subject, Goldberg is the amount of unemployment exists in all sectors of the country, 7%, and that's too much. And Labor Secretary noted that the Kennedy administration had begun several programs to relieve unemployment, and said other steps would be taken in that soon, and he pointed out that the problem goes back to the past administrations. We took office in the midst of the full-fledged recession, and that the recession in our men. After his Dallas speech, Goldberg will find the sanitary fund address before the Latin American citizens. He is wrong to think that Latin American migratory labor question is simply a problem. Latin American labor is also an asset. We have most cordial relations with the Mexican government in this question. A damaging storm whipped into the Houston Tuesday. It tore down a few utility lines, injured 5 people in the path of flying glass, and destroyed a picture window at the airport and caused understandably widespread destruction. A tornado funnel was sighted about Victoria, about 120 miles southwest of Houston, but it did not reach ground. It felt like a building was coming down. A salesman at a Houston car agency where the wind ripped the cover off a washback. Man, that wind felt like it was 100 miles an hour. The washback covered 1,000 in damage to the 3 new cars, plus $2,500 in damage to the washback. At the airport, Mayor Louis Courier and 4 city councilmen were scheduled to be eating lunch, and their plate was covered with shattered glass. The mayor and councilmen were late for the meal and escaped injury, thus returning to City Hall. Thomas Chevrier, manager at the dining room at age 30, said cuffs are screaming and darted for the lobby, kitchen, and adjacent officers when they were in the book. He closed the restaurant. In Washington, the administration appears to have decided that Moscow must play the first card in the diplomatic poker game over Berlin, and the table issue is to be resolved around the poker table. Premier Khrushchev's television address Monday struck officials here a careful and deliberate and determination of President Kennedy's television discussion during the subject last month. Both men vowed firmness, but pleaded for a peaceful solution, and even offered a hint of what might be negotiable. And the first hint in Washington's view must come from the Soviet Union, and President Kennedy deferred commented on Khrushchev's speech until his news conference Thursday morning, but the advice of his foreign policy experts seemed to be against any revelation of a concession that the West might be prepared to make. The failing of this be since Moscow wants to alter its codified the situation in Germany, it must make its more acceptable suggestions. And meanwhile, that they say the alliance will concentrate on forging a firm union with East Germany will continue to suffer heavy issues of population. And the State Department Tuesday, there was general shrugging of shoulders by Soviet specialists when they asked to analyze the Khrushchev speech to come in the front of the vein for signs of flexibility. On the contrary, they were disturbed by the Khrushchev's assertion on 2 occasions that any further postponement of a peace treaty with East Germany would be taken in the West as a strategic triumph for the Communist World Party far out of the Berlin limb on one official remark. And that seems to be taken farther yet. The Soviet premier told his people that a further delay would only embolden the West to make new demands aimed at the liquidation of the communist system for Eastern Europe, and this passages read not only as no notices of no diplomatic retreat, but also attempts by Khrushchev to alert his people to the seriousness of the Berlin crisis. He said it affected the terrible with not Berlin, but the defense of the communist bloc, and Russia itself has said that it wanted war because of the lows and hope of winning peaceful competition with the Soviet Union in this year, made the stabilization of East Germany frontier all the imperative. Vanilla Fast 12 and looked even younger. He had tried to get a job at a going-up hay bale crew, but he didn't get it. He was just too small. So Benny organized a hay hauling crew of his own with his sister Mary, 13, and brothers Domingo, 11, and Walter, 9. He hauled 136 bales of hay from Mrs. Gladys' shop north facing Garland, and to a bale that came at $6.50 after expenses. Benny cleared $3. Satisfied, Benny settled back against a porch pole looking off at the sky. He completely cooperated gingerly and called his pet coon Tim to at least Feet on it. Tim waddled over, took the wasp, and acknowledged a friendly stroke from Benny's hand. Way pets do. Benny's big toe was healed now. Don gave him trouble. There was during that high haul and where it hurt worse than his pen. Benny carried on, but I couldn't stop. I'm the ball. They took several days. Sometimes the bale stumbled and had to be reloaded, and who could have been predicted what fascination and the boys would have found in the nest of the baby stinks that they found on the little dillies when they all arrived. Then examined one by one the locals they caught. I get up early so I can get my plan out. Benny relates. Benny's landlord on top of Minner. Straight up in Myra's Mrs. Shop, which was Sloan. That tractor Benny drove in tenacious officially pulling a trailer he borrowed from his father. It is Mrs. Shop who has kept mental note of the Benny unspoiled philosophical offerings for the years. He asked her some time ago why neighbor was plowing up some perfectly healthy cotton. Maybe he planted more than his lawman and the government told him to plow some off, he was told. Short time later, Brother Walt asked Benny what did the government. Benny drew himself up as tall as he could and showed his wisdom. The government, where you have to plow up the part of your call. Girls are yet to be denied Benny's independence. He talked about that. You can't trust girls, he said. They girls we make to play baseball. We make plans to beat some other team. A girl will go tell them all your plans. I like to be a baseball player. Maybe make me a mental, said the professional Hey Hand, and to be finding out. Just to clear up that he's pretty good, isn't he? He worked on his new wealth from the hay hall, and then considered I met, he said, we're in the city and ran a bulldozer. They make $50. Wait until Mickey Mantle hears about it. And Panteros, Uruguay, Fidel Castro, British economic chief, Tuesday night accused the United States of plotting an assassination in Latin America, and he turned. He called it an assassination by the Chad and anti-Castro first fights followed by the interest. American Economic and Social Conference that charged the counter-charge rose over the President Kennedy's multi-billion-dollar lines for progress program. The attack program by Cuba's economic minister and Esther Che Guevara set off fistfights both in the outside the conference hall. Late Tuesday night, 5 major Latin American nations, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Mexico, and Peru, introduced a resolution calling on the United States and other foreign aid sources to pump $20 billion in the next 10 years into Kennedy's program. The 5-nation resolution put into watered down the U.S. proposal for a powerful committee of 7 wise men and coordinated economic planning for the Latin American nations. The nations asserted their determination to plan their own economic program and proposed only an advisory to American planning staff. The 5 countries also admitted and tried to the much disputed American proposal for elaborate information and culture campaign to publicize the social and economic reforms that was the goals of Kennedy's program. As the 33-year-old Guevara finished his violent 2-hour, 15-minute speech, a respectable spectator invited as Max Andre Levy, a member of the anti-Castro revolutionary front, shouted, "Assassin!" He was hustled outside by 2 security guards amid a flurry of swinging fists in the lobby. A second fist fight broke out by the between anti-Castro sympathizers and the guards. While the man who was shouting assassin, 2 other Cuban exiles leaped on the stage and shouted insults to Guevara as he walked away. Police took the 3 men to the police station. In Columbia, South Carolina, Charles E. Bonneau, a 37-year-old trucking executive, Tuesday became the first Republican elected to be the South Carolina General Assembly since Reconstruction days. Bonneau defeated Democratic Joe Barry Jr. and J.R. Hanahan, a self-styled Self-Threats candidate in a special election to fill a vacancy in an 8-member Richland County, Columbia delegation that House of Representatives. And Bonneau campaigned largely against the Democratic National Party, attack administration programs, and ideologies. Here, in the United Nations, New York, the United States Tuesday declared for the President to be back to a special session in the United Nations General Assembly in a bizarre crisis and held out hopes for settling the dispute outside the United Nations. U.S. Ambassador Annalise Stevenson announced the decision in a reply to the United Nations Secretary General Declan's poll of member nations, and recent developments encouraged us to believe that an early settlement of this dispute in the spirit of Article 33 of the United Nations Charter may be possible, and the reply said. Article 33 calls for efforts to seek solutions to the problems between members of the nation by the direct talks before turning to the United Nations, but African diplomats predicted that the special session on way backed by 47 and 50 countries required will convene as early as next Monday. Informed sources said the United States is continuing efforts to mediate the dispute between the role of the honest broker between France and Tunisia. In Vandenberg Air Force Base, California, an Air Force technician suffocated Tuesday, and 3 co-workers were hurt when a gaseous nitrogen leaked from a storage tank at an Atlas missile launching site. The Air Force said the accident occurred when the nitrogen was being pumped to the storage tank from a tank truck. Nitrogen spilled out of the tank and becoming a victim who fell 5 steps to the shallow pit in which the storage tank is built. Name of the victim was Raphael, being the notification next of kin. Officers said the 3 airmen suffered minor injuries when they put on gas masks and tried to save their co-worker. They were hospitalized for treatment, and officers identified them as Master Sergeant Barbara D. Bell, Santa Barbara, California, Staff Sergeant Orville Miller of Memphis, Tennessee, and A2Z Life Forbes of Ponca City, Oklahoma. 5 men were killed Monday when a 57-ton door of a Titan state launcher fell on them at Denver. In St. Louis, Missouri, a tax subsidy to young newly married couples was suggested on Tuesday. Dr. Thomas B. Monahan, Source Archers of the Philadelphia Municipal Court, recommended a study of extended federal tax advantage to young newlyweds during the time when their income is likely to be low. His remarks were provided in a panel discussion at the convention of the American Bar Association in St. Louis. The authors of that study now have double income tax exemptions. Dr. Monahan said what a non-civil provision of persons in the first 5 years of marriage when the problems of living, adjusting, and supporting children are the greatest. Dr. Monahan conducted a drastic change in a public way that thinking would be necessary too. Let's move away from legislation thus far that the United States marriage legislation has been statutory prohibited, he said. They said that the nation needs a new system of social bookkeeping and national registry of all marriage and divorce. He suggested premarital blood tests now recorded in all but 5 states and all of questionable value, and he recommended all legal recognition to be drawn from common law marriages still recognized in 15 states. A national registry for marriages and divorces similar to the nation's social security record system could easily be set up and be said. Dr. Biden said such a system would help solve the problem of bigamy and added. The life history of the types of marriages could be studied to discover what the relationships exist between family and stability and outcome and age of marriage, elopements and forced marriages and intermarriages of clauses and creeds, and the presence or the absence of their children, and many other relevant issues. Dr. Monahan noted that there have been tremendous advances in incurring of venereal disease such legislation of premarital blood test caught in the public favor in the 1930s. It's on and note, he said, that couples getting married on required to spend more money for the blood test than the federal government was allowed for the eradication of disease. $3 million in 1955. In Austin, Texas, the legislature just before midnight Tuesday sent the governor press standard 2-year revenue bill to raise to $3 million, prominently limited retail sales tax, but time ran out before midnight determined in the passage of a House per bill and provide about $144 million the next 2 years for increase the public salary. Release the public school teachers' salaries plus other betterments in the state aid to schools. The circuit bid not without recommended to be up to Governor Price standard order and have a special session meeting so desires to pass it, but to such of a topic as loan shark regulation and the inclusion in the ranks in the newly passed SC bill. He ordered his promise on the October session on that loan shark problem. Governor Daniel said he would call a special session to raise teachers' salaries, but they wanted to study the tax and spending bills before setting the date. There are strong indications that the session will be called for sometimes during the early fall. Lobbyists for the powerful Texas State Teachers Association had talked with Daniel for a few minutes before, urging that the session be called immediately. I urge him to be called here as soon as possible, even if it's convenient tonight, said Daniel Williams, superintendent of schools at Corsicana and TSTA Texas Legislature Committee Chairman. The sales tax feature was certified by Comptroller Robert Calvert before hand raised to $119,320,249 the total. Then the legislature passed appropriations for the next 2 years, starting September 1st, totaling more than $2.5 billion required from the depleted general fund for $29.5 million. The tax bill passed for the Senate for 23-8 and the House by more than 100 votes needed to make it effective on September 1st, started the state's new fiscal year. Senators approved the appropriation bill by 23-8, while the House gave it a 10-73-32 approval that was confessed on the grounds the vote came after midnight. The approved tax bill would impose a 2% retail tax on sales of 25 cents or more with a main competition between food and home consumption, work, clothing, and consistent other apparel of wearing color. Still less than $10 plus a number of other miscellaneous items. Calvert's estimated of other income was franchise tax on a present basis $20,048,658. Revision of corn operating machine tax loss of $44,550. 50% increase in driver's license fees $7,258,944. Bookkeeping transfer of motor fuel funds and available school fund one-time gain of $3,958,417. A new novel token dedicated gas reserve tax for $30,333,250 would be contested in court payment if held up for a total of $353,960,961. Lieutenant Governor Ben Ramsey said only one thing more than he refers to parade consideration of massive teachers' pay raise bill in the closing moment of the special session because there were too little Paris, the 15-power North Atlantic Treaty Organization, Tuesday unanimously endorsed an appeal by U.S. Secretary of State Dean Rusk for Southern Force to meet Russia's threats to the Berlin crisis. Rusk outlined the permanent council of NATO to the military held up by the Western leaders belief must be made well within the next 60 days. Diplomatic informants said they called on the NATO powers to join the United States, Britain, France, and West Germany in helping bring Europe's shields closer to full scheduled trade before the West opens what might be critical talks to the Soviet Union. A NATO spokesman said that Council of absolutely endorsed Rusk's appeal. Rusk calls for the action consent when awarded the official NATO letter that in the past that show of force was been necessary to bring about a Russian backdown as Berlin. Rusk reported on measures he had that the foreign ministers of Britain, France, and West Germany agreed to take in their meeting with Germany yesterday. The thing had increased in the straight for the British forces down. Germany returned more French troops from Algeria to Europe and bringing 8 German divisions up to combat straight for the Western Big Four. Rusk said recommended that experts have a NATO powers to take comparable steps that ensured secrecy for the Western plans to contract threats of Soviet permit. Nicholas Khrushchev's Tuesday Council meeting was listed by newly informed men with president from each of the 50 counties and no minutes were kept. Rusk wanted to have reported agreement among the Western Big Four that is up to the Russians to provide a reasonable basis for any new Berlin negotiations. This is denied by British Foreign Secretary on the Earl of Home and talked with the newsman before he returned to London Tuesday. If it is not, there's no real hope for getting an agreement with Lord Holman and said that negotiations were worse than no negotiations at all. Ben Flex Weber here. After this commercial break. And it was another typical Texas day today. Hazy, hot, and a little humid here, but a beautiful summer-like day in the Metroplex today here. And our today's forecast by nature shows rainy weather from the Gulf States up into the Tennessee Valley, high pressure off the Florida and Colorado and Michigan, and low pressure in southern California and central Nebraska here. So our forecast for Dallas Pacific go like this. Fair and warm Wednesday and Thursday, becoming partly cloudy in the afternoon, design more days up and down tomorrow. No, Thursday morning in the middle 70s and winds 70 about 10 to 15 miles per hour here. And that is going to be it for the KTVT 6:30 report of this Wednesday, August 9th, 1961. Dallas temperature at 6 o'clock is 93 degrees at Dallas Love, 93 at Fort Worth, and 93 at Greater Southwest. Page J with me. Have a good evening. I'll see you later on. Have a good evening.